The twin sons of Ord Talric bathed the jagged canyons in amber light as Jedi Master Silver stood at the cliff's edge, cloak fluttering in the hot wind. Known across the Outer Rim for his unshakable calm and quiet wisdom, Silver had chosen to live far from Coruscant, away from politics and the noise of war. His life was one of humility, a servant of the Force and a guardian of those who had no one else. Two Padawans walked behind him, Bryson, daring and quick-witted, and Ethan, eager yet plagued by self-doubt. Silver trained them to listen to the Force, not to wield it as a weapon but as a guide. Kalen Voss, Jedi Warden of the Outer Rim, had entrusted Silver with these apprentices, believing his humility could temper their restless spirits. But destiny had other plans. Lightning flashed across the derelict mining station as Silver stepped into the operations chamber, his golden lightsaber humming in his hand. Across from him stood Bryson, his hood drawn low, a crimson blade ignited in his grip. Ethan staggered into the room behind Silver, stunned. "Bryson, what are you doing?" Bryson's voice was chillingly calm. "I've found the truth, Master. The Jedi hide behind rules and fear. I have embraced freedom." His hood fell, revealing eyes burning yellow. Silver's heart sank. "You were like my son." "You were my cage," Bryson snapped, lunging forward. The clash was immediate, gold against red, sparks leaping across the room. Bryson's strikes were ferocious and fueled by hate, while Silver's were precise and defensive. "Stand down!" Silver shouted, but Bryson only laughed, screaming, "No more chains," as he unleashed a force push, hurling Ethan into a wall and escaping into the storm. The Jedi Council soon learned of the betrayal. "Bryson has fallen," Silver reported, his voice heavy with grief. "He's dangerous," Kalen Voss warned. "Stop him before others follow." Silver and Ethan pursued him across the Outer Rim. On Rishi, they found mercenaries whispering of a dark warrior wielding a crimson blade. On Nithra 4, they discovered a Hutt cartel outpost slaughtered with surgical precision. Burned into the wall were two words, "No masters." "He's leaving messages for you," Ethan said nervously. Silver clipped his saber to his belt. "He's drawing me in." In the icy heart of Nithra, Silver finally confronted him. Bryson sat on a jagged throne of ice, surrounded by mercenaries. "You came," he said, igniting his saber. "You can still come back," Silver pleaded. "Back to servitude? No. You will join me, or die." Blaster fire erupted as mercenaries attacked. Silver's golden blade whirled, deflecting bolts while Ethan scrambled for cover. With a surge of the Force, Silver scattered the mercenaries. The ground quaked violently as an ancient, dark energy pulsed beneath them, shattering the cavern. "Bryson, stop!" Silver gasped, clutching his wound. "The cavern's collapsing!" But Bryson only smiled and lifted his blade, and never saw it coming. A massive ice spike broke loose from the ceiling and impaled him through the chest, pinning him to the frozen floor. His crimson saber slipped from his hand, extinguishing as his eyes widened in shock. "Master," Bryson whispered, blood freezing in the air. I was right." His head slumped forward, lifeless. Silver stared at the body of his fallen Padawan, grief written across his face. With a roar of pain and sorrow, he scooped up Ethan and staggered out of the collapsing cavern. Outside, Silver collapsed in the snow, clutching Ethan tight as the storm howled like the voice of the Force itself. "Forgive me," he whispered, tears freezing on his face. "Forgive us both." The Jedi cruiser drifted in silence through the outer reaches of the mid-rim. Silver sat cross-legged in meditation, the hum of the ship's engines barely audible beneath his focus. Yet the Force around him was restless, like a storm pressing against the walls of his mind. "Master?" Ethan's voice broke the silence. "Are you hearing it too?" Silver opened his eyes, troubled. A whisper, yes. A cold chill swept through the chamber, unnatural in the climate-controlled ship. Then a voice, familiar, venomous, slithered through their thoughts. "You left me to die, Master." Silver's eyes snapped open fully. "Bryson!" The lights flickered. A translucent figure appeared at the edge of the chamber. Bryson, or what remained of him. His spectral form flickered like shattered glass, eyes still glowing faintly yellow. "You should have saved me," the ghost hissed. "Instead, you let me rot in the ice." Ethan stumbled backward, lightsaber in hand. "This isn't real. This can't be real." Bryson's spirit turned to him, his voice soft yet venomous. "You took my place, little one. You should have died." Suddenly the ship's alarms blared. An unknown vessel had exited hyperspace, locking weapons. Silver stood quickly. "Ethan, to the cockpit, now!" As they rushed forward, Bryson's ghost followed, whispering, "You can't run from me." Outside, the attacking ship was no pirate vessel. It was sleek, obsidian black, adorned with crimson insignias unfamiliar to the Republic. From its hangar emerged figures cloaked in black and crimson armor, Sith acolytes. Silver ignited his golden saber, Ethan his blue. "They're Sith," Silver said grimly, "but not from any order I know." The first acolyte stepped forward, lightsaber pike in hand. "We are the heirs of no masters," the masked voice declared. "The one you left for dead showed us the way." Ethan froze, glancing at Silver. "He's talking about Bryson." From behind them, Bryson's ghost smiled. "Even in death, I rise." As Silver finally struck down one of the acolytes, Bryson's ghost smiled and vanished into the walls. The remaining Sith retreated to their ship, leaving only a chilling message scratched into the hangar wall. "No masters, only power." Silver knelt by Ethan, who was shaking uncontrollably, blood trickling from his nose. "He's in my head, Master," Ethan whispered. "He won't leave." Silver looked toward the stars where the Sith ship vanished. Bryson's voice echoed one last time, soft and cruel. "I will tear you apart, piece by piece, and then you'll join me." The Jedi cruiser limped through hyperspace, its hull scorched from the recent ambush. Silver stood at the viewport, one hand resting on his golden lightsaber. Behind him, Ethan sat slumped, still shaken from Bryson's ghostly assault. "They called themselves the heirs of no masters," Ethan said, his voice hollow. "That was Bryson's phrase." Silver nodded grimly. "They're building something dangerous. Bryson's death didn't end his influence. It spread it." He turned toward his Padawan, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We need to find them before they grow beyond control." Ethan looked up, fear and determination clashing in his eyes. "And what if his ghost is leading them?" Silver's expression hardened. "Then we end it, spirit and all." The heirs weren't careless. Their attacks were coordinated. Supply raids, strikes on Republic outposts, and mysterious disappearances of Force-sensitive younglings. Every lead Silver uncovered pointed deeper into the lawless regions of the Outer Rim, where Republic law held no sway. On Vardos Delta, they found a smuggling ring stripped bare. Scorch marks and crimson saber strikes covered the walls, and a familiar symbol burned into Durasteel. "No masters." "They're recruiting," Silver said quietly. "Bryson's ideas have become a doctrine." Ethan hesitated. "Master, what if Bryson's ghost is real? What if he's teaching them?" Silver paused, memories of the cold whisper in his mind sending a chill down his spine. "Then we sever his connection. Permanently." Their next lead brought them to Drax's station, a derelict mining outpost. But Silver felt the trap before they even landed. "Master, we shouldn't..." Ethan began. Too late. Silver stepped off the ship, lightsaber in hand. The hangar doors slammed shut behind them, and 10 Sith acolytes emerged, their armor gleaming with crimson accents. At their head was a tall figure wielding a double-bladed saber. "You're too late, Jedi," the masked leader said. "The heirs are beyond your reach. Bryson leads us still." Silver ignited his golden blade. "Bryson is dead." The leader tilted their head. "Are you sure?" A cold chill swept through the room. Bryson's ghost manifested again, his face twisted with hatred. "You should have let me live. But I'll take your life instead." The acolytes charged, their crimson sabers flashing like wildfire. Silver and Ethan braced for impact, but Bryson's ghost surged forward, possessing one of the acolytes, who immediately ignited their saber with unnatural speed. "Master!" Ethan whispered in terror. "He's inside them." Silver tightened his grip on his weapon, whispering to himself, "Force, guide my blade." The possessed Sith lunged at him with inhuman strength, and as their blades clashed, Bryson's ghost hissed in his ear. "This time, you won't survive."
The hangar of Drax's station stank of scorched metal and blood. The possessed acolyte lay unconscious at Silver's feet, Bryson's ghost having fled its body like smoke escaping a shattered jar. Ethan stood behind him, trembling, saber still ignited. "Master, what was that?" Ethan asked, voice shaky. Silver knelt beside the fallen acolyte, touching 2 fingers to the body's temple. He reached out through the force and felt it again. Cold, ancient, wrong. "That wasn't Bryson alone," Silver said quietly. "There's someone else, stronger, older." In the wreckage of the acolyte's datapad, Silver found a transmission log. A distorted voice played through the static.
"Bring the Jedi to me. The heirs must be tested."
"Who is that?" Ethan frowned. The name was etched into the final line of the datapad's encrypted file. Jaden Karan. Silver stiffened. Jaden. I've heard that name. He was a Jedi Knight centuries ago, one who fell. Ethan looked uneasy. If he's that old, how is he alive? Silver glanced at the shadows pooling unnaturally at the edges of the room. The dark side can keep things alive far longer than nature intended. The datapad's final coordinates led them to Naxor, a world choked by perpetual storms and black oceans. A fortress rose from its cliffs, obsidian spires stabbing the sky like daggers. As their ship descended, Silver whispered, "Jaden is here." Ethan swallowed hard. "And Bryson's ghost?" Silver nodded grimly, probably standing next to him. The fortress throne room was vast, its walls lined with ancient Sith relics pulsing with faint red light. At its center stood Jaden, a tall figure clad in deep crimson armor, his face concealed behind a segmented mask. A double-bladed lightsaber hung from his hip, and behind him, dozens of heirs stood at attention. "Welcome, Jedi," Jaden said, voice deep and smooth, unnervingly calm. "I am Jaden, true master of the heirs of no masters." Silver ignited his golden saber. "You're using my former Padawan's ghost as a weapon." Jaden. "Using? No, I freed him. Bryson's anger gives him strength even in death." Bryson's ghost materialized at Jaden's side, smiling wickedly. "Told you I'd rise again, Master." Jaden raised his hand and the entire room seemed to darken, as if the fortress itself were alive. "You have 2 choices, Jedi," Jaden said softly. "Bow, or be buried here." Dozens of crimson sabers ignited around them, Bryson's ghost as it swirled around Ethan, whispering, "He can't save you this time." Silver tightened his grip on his saber. "Ethan, stay behind me." Jaden ignited his double-bladed saber, spinning it effortlessly. Let's see if the Jedi still deserve to exist.
The Jedi cruiser drifted in orbit above Naxor, its hull battered and scorched. Silver sat in silence, meditating, but his mind was anything but calm. Jaden had escaped, and Bryson's ghost lingered like a poison in the Force. Ethan stood by the viewport, arms crossed tightly. "Ah, Master, it's like he's still here. In my head." Silver looked up. The bond between you and Bryson runs deep. He was your friend. Before he fell. Ethan shook his head. It's more than that. He's calling to me. Deep within the fortress they had left behind, Jaden stood inside a massive chamber lined with ancient Sith runes. Before him, a sarcophagus of ice rested on a dais, Bryson's body, preserved from the Nithra caverns. Jaden raised both hands, chanting in the Sith tongue. Red lightning surged from his fingers into the body, cracking the ice as shadows poured into the corpse. A scream echoed through the Force as Bryson's ghost was pulled from the netherworld and forced back into flesh. His eyes snapped open. Yellow, burning, alive. He staggered forward, flexing new, pale fingers. I live, Jaden smiled beneath his mask. Yes, my apprentice, and you will bring me the Jedi boy. I don't want to. Yes, sorry, sir. That night aboard Silver's cruiser, Ethan woke to cold air brushing across his face. He sat up, clutching his head as whispers clawed into his mind again. Come with me. Now. Before he could react, a figure stepped from the shadows of his quarters. It was Bryson, alive, his crimson saber igniting with a hiss. Bryson, Ethan whispered, surprised. You're alive. Bryson smirked, smugly, stronger than ever. With a flick of his wrist, he slammed Ethan into the wall using the Force, knocking him unconscious. Silver rushed to Ethan's quarters minutes later, sensing the disturbance. The room was empty, the viewport shattered. "Ethan!" he shouted, scanning the darkness of space where a Sith shuttle sped away. A hologram blinked to life on the console, Jaden's masked face. Menacingly, "Come to us, Jedi, if you want your Padawan back. Bring your strength. You will need it." Behind Jaden stood Bryson, fully alive, his yellow eyes piercing through the transmission. "Miss me, Master?" The hologram cut out, leaving Silver standing alone, his golden lightsaber humming to life as he whispered, "Force, help me. I'm coming for you both." In the darkness of hyperspace, Ethan awoke, restrained inside the Sith vessel, Bryson sitting across from him. In the darkness of hyperspace, Ethan awoke, restrained inside the Sith vessel, Bryson sitting across from him. "You'll see, old friend," Bryson said softly, eyes blazing. "We're going to set you free, whether you want it or not." Ethan struggled, panic rising. "Bryson, this isn't you," Bryson said. "I'm sorry, Ethan."
Silver's ship descended onto Korath, an ancient Sith world shrouded in crimson storms and obsidian spires. The Force screamed with dark energy, pulling at his mind like claws. In the distance stood a massive Sith citadel, its windows glowing faint red. Inside, Ethan was being held, and Jaden and Bryson waited. Silver gripped his golden lightsaber tightly, determined, "I will not lose them both." Jaden stood on his blackened throne, double-bladed saber ignited. Beside him, Bryson, alive, pale, and cloaked in dark robes, watched Ethan, who was shackled to the floor. "You came, Jedi," Jaden said, stepping down the dais, "as I knew you would." Silver pointed his saber, demanding, "Release my Padawan." Jaden, "He's not yours anymore. He's ours." Bryson turned toward Ethan, voice almost sorrowful. "Don't fight it, Ethan. It's easier this way." Ethan glared at him. "You're not my friend anymore." For a moment, Bryson froze, his jaw tightening. Jaden advanced on Silver, sabers colliding in a clash of gold and crimson. The room shook with their duel as lightning crackled from the walls. "Bryson!" Jaden barked mid-duel. "End the boy!" Bryson walked toward Ethan, crimson saber humming. He raised it high and stopped. Memories flashed, training with Ethan, laughing, sparring under Silver's guidance. The whispers of the dark side screamed in his head, but another voice, fainter, warmer, cut through it. You can still choose. Bryson lowered his saber, firmly. No. Jaden paused mid-duel, turning his masked face toward Bryson. Surprised. What did you say? Bryson's eyes burned brighter. I said no! With a roar, Bryson lunged, not at Ethan, but at Jaden. His crimson blade stabbed through the Sith Master's chest. Jaden, his double-bladed saber dropping to the floor. Traitor, he rasped as Bryson twisted the blade and shoved him off the dais. The Sith Master fell, lifeless, smoke rising from the wound. Silver stopped. Shocked. Bryson! Bryson turned to him, tears mixing with the pale corruption of his face. Sorrowful. I'm sorry, Master, for everything. Before Silver could respond, Bryson plunged his saber into his own chest. Determined, I won't be a monster anymore. Bryson, no! Ethan screamed as Bryson collapsed, his body fading into shimmering particles, the corruption leaving his features as he whispered his last words. Tell Ethan I'm proud of him. The Citadel shook violently, its dark energy unraveling without Jaden's power. Silver grabbed Ethan, freeing him from the shackles. Together they ran as the entire structure collapsed behind them. On the ship, Ethan sat quietly, staring at the floor.